What if I told you that the financial reset millions have been waiting for is no longer a matter of if, but a matter of when, and that the clock started ticking the moment these numbers hit the internet? A seismic leak, a digital whisper that has erupted into a roaring tidal wave across global currency forums, has just exposed what appears to be the preliminary exchange rates for the Iraqi Dinar and the Vietnamese Dong. Numbers that, if verified, would not just change portfolios, but would fundamentally rewrite the global economic landscape overnight. This isn't just another rumor floating in the murky depths of online speculation. This is a coordinated data dump from sources claiming direct ties to banking insiders and Forex trackers who have their fingers on the pulse of the Iraqi Central Bank and the State Bank of Vietnam, suggesting that after years of painstaking monetary reform, backroom negotiations, and international pressure, the planets have finally aligned for a synchronized revaluation, dual RV event that would see these two currencies skyrocket from their current artificial lows to values that reflect the true, staggering economic potential of their nations. Imagine the Iraqi dinar, long held down by decades of conflict and instability, suddenly being recognized not for its troubled past, but for its future as the currency of a nation sitting atop one of the world's largest proven oil reserves, a nation aggressively diversifying its economy and rebuilding its infrastructure with a vision of becoming a dominant financial hub in the Middle East. Now, pair that with the Vietnamese Dong, the currency of a Southeast Asian tiger economy that has consistently posted some of the most impressive GDP growth rates on the planet. A manufacturing powerhouse that has successfully attracted massive foreign investment from tech giants and industrial behemoths alike, all while maintaining remarkable political stability and a forward-thinking digital economic policy. The leaked rates, which we must stress are still unverified and should not be considered financial advice, point to a revaluation that isn't just incremental, it is exponential, a deliberate and calculated move designed to instantly bring these nations to parity with their global peers, allowing them to settle international debts in their own strong currency, attract a new tier of high-level investment, and empower their citizens with unprecedented purchasing power on the world stage. The very fact that these leaks for both currencies emerge simultaneously is the most compelling piece of evidence that this is a coordinated strategy, a clear signal that the long-anticipated global financial shift is entering its final, most critical phase, and for the millions of holders worldwide, the wait may finally be coming to an end, making this single leak the most important financial story of the decade, a story that is still unfolding in real time as we speak. The mechanism behind this potential dual revaluation is a masterclass in international finance and geopolitical strategy, a complex dance that has been years in the making, and understanding it is crucial to grasping the sheer magnitude of what is about to happen. For Iraq, the path to this moment has been paved with the arduous task of complying with international banking standards, particularly those set by the Society for Worldwide Interbank Financial Telecommunication, or SUBIFT, and navigating the intricate demands of the International Monetary Fund, all while working to delete the zeros from its currency, a process that is not merely a technical change of banknotes, but a profound statement of monetary sovereignty and stability designed to combat hyperinflation and create a currency that is truly functional for both domestic and international trade. Simultaneously, Vietnam has been engaged in a quiet but relentless campaign to strengthen its financial systems, pushing for a more flexible exchange rate mechanism, building formidable foreign exchange reserves that now stand as a towering war chest to defend the new value of the Dong, and systematically reducing its dependency on the U.S. dollar and cross-border transactions, a strategic move that aligns perfectly with a broader global de-dollarization trend and positions the Dong as a potential regional anchor currency. The synchronization of these two distinct but parallel journeys is not a coincidence. It is a calculated maneuver within a larger global economic rebalancing, a move that could potentially create a powerful new financial bloc and challenge the hegemony of traditional Western currencies. The leaked rates themselves, though unconfirmed, are not arbitrary numbers pulled from thin air. They are figures that logically correspond to the underlying economic fundamentals that have been deliberately suppressed for years, representing the actual purchasing power parity, the vast natural resource wealth of Iraq, and the explosive, innovation-driven industrial output of Vietnam. When you connect these dots, a breathtaking picture emerges, one where this leak was not an accident, but a strategically timed soft launch, a pressure release valve to gauge market sentiment and prepare the global public for the shockwave that is about to hit the Forex markets, a shockwave that will transfer immense wealth from the old guard to the forward-thinking individuals who had the vision to see the potential in these two powerhouse nations before the rest of the world catches on. Now, let's pull back the curtain and delve into the hard, tangible evidence and the powerful geopolitical undercurrents that make this leak not just a possibility, but an impending reality, because the data doesn't lie and the actions of these nations speak louder than any rumor ever could. The foundation for this historic revaluation is built upon a series of undeniable, concrete events that have systematically dismantled the old financial structures and laid the groundwork for a new era of economic strength and autonomy for both Iraq and Vietnam. Starting with Iraq, the nation has successfully navigated its way out of the stringent Chapter VI sanctions from the United Nations, a monumental step that restored its full economic sovereignty and allowed it to re-enter the global financial community as a respected and independent player, no longer shackled by the debts and penalties of the previous regime. This was followed by a relentless and technically complex project overseen by the Central Bank of Iraq to delete the zeros from the Iraqi dinar, a process that is far more profound than simply printing new banknotes. It is a comprehensive monetary reform designed to combat the legacy of hyperinflation, simplify financial transactions for both citizens and international partners, and most importantly, to create a strong single currency value that is universally recognized and trusted, effectively severing the currency from its historically weak and unstable past. Furthermore, Iraq has made staggering progress in its oil and gas legislation, particularly with the passage of the long-delayed federal oil and gas law, provides a clear and attractive framework for international energy giants to invest billions of dollars in infrastructure and development, guaranteeing a massive and steady future stream of revenue that will back the new, robust value of the dinar with tangible, underground wealth. Across the globe, Vietnam has been executing an equally impressive and parallel strategy, with the State Bank of Vietnam consistently and deliberately widening the trading band for the dong, a controlled move that allows the currency to find its true, market-driven value and builds the necessary mechanisms to manage its volatility once the revaluation occurs, preventing the kind of chaotic swings that could undermine the economic gains. The country's foreign exchange reserves have skyrocketed to an all-time high, creating a formidable financial firewall that gives the central bank immense power to defend the new exchange rate against any speculative attacks, sending a clear message to the world that the dong's new value is non-negotiable and permanently secured by the nation's vast economic strength. Moreover, Vietnam has aggressively pursued bilateral trade agreements that strategically bypass the US dollar, opting to settle transactions in local currencies with powerhouse partners like China, Japan, a direct and purposeful step in the global de-dollarization movement that reduces reliance on the American financial system and elevates the status of the dong to that of a regional settlement currency. The timing of these coordinated efforts is impeccable, as both nations are pushing for the internationalization of their currencies at a moment of unprecedented global shift, where the traditional dominance of the dollar and the euro is being questioned and new financial alliances are being formed, creating the perfect storm for the Iraqi dinar and the Vietnamese dong to ascend as the new, viable assets for international trade and foreign reserves. The leaked rates are the logical, mathematical conclusion of all these factors combined. They represent the convergence of years of political stabilization, economic growth, resource monetization, and financial engineering, all culminating in a single decisive event that will catapult these nations from developing status to fully developed economic powerhouses virtually overnight. And for the astute investor who has been paying attention to these undeniable signals, the reward for their patience and foresight will be nothing short of historic, a life-altering transfer of wealth that is rooted not in speculation, but in the cold, hard reality of geopolitics and macroeconomics. This is not a fantasy. It is the inevitable outcome of a meticulously executed plan that is now reaching its final public phase, and the leaked numbers are simply the first official confirmation of a process that has been in motion for the better part of a decade, a process that is about to reach its earth-shattering conclusion and redefine the meaning of wealth for millions of people across the globe. So, the critical question now shifts from if this will happen to what you must do in these final, fleeting moments before the official announcement is made, because history has shown that fortunes are never made by those who wait for the headlines, but by those who understand the signals and take decisive action before the crowd even knows what is happening. The window of opportunity is slamming shut faster than anyone realizes, and the difference between a life of financial struggle and a life of generational wealth will be determined by the choices you make in the immediate aftermath of this explosive leak. First and foremost, you must immediately secure your currency holdings if you have not already done so. Ensure your dinar and dong are in a safe, accessible, and private location, not in a bank that could be subject to a freeze or sudden regulatory changes during a period of intense financial transition. As the moment this revaluation goes live, the entire global financial system will enter a state of unprecedented flux, and you need to have direct, unimpeded control over your assets. Secondly, you must begin educating yourself right now on the post-revaluation redemption process. Identify the official international exchange platforms, the authorized bank partners, and the specific procedures for converting your currency at the new rates, because the initial 72 hours will be a whirlwind of confusion, and you need to have a crystal clear, step-by-step plan already in place to navigate the process calmly and efficiently, ensuring you don't make costly mistakes in the initial chaos. Do not, under any circumstances, fall for the fear-based narratives or the last-minute attempts by mainstream financial media to downplay this event. They have a vested interest in maintaining the status quo and will likely dismiss the revaluation until the very last second, at which point they will be forced to report it as a fait accompli. But by then, the prime opportunity will have already passed for those who hesitated. This is your moment to break free from the cycle of debt and financial anxiety, to become a proactive architect of your own destiny rather than a passive spectator in an economy that has been designed to keep you struggling. And the key to unlocking this future is the strategic, informed action you take today, not tomorrow. Imagine a world where you are completely debt-free, where your mortgage, your car payments, and your credit cards are wiped clean with a single strategic transaction, liberating your income for building wealth and pursuing passion instead of merely surviving and servicing interest to the banking system. Envision having the resources to fund not just your children's education, but your grandchildren's, creating a legacy of knowledge and opportunity that stretches for generations and elevates your entire family name to a new level of influence and stability. Picture yourself as a powerful force for good in your community with the financial capacity to support local charities, fund groundbreaking medical research, build infrastructure in developing nations, and become a patron of the arts and sciences, leaving a permanent positive mark on the world that far outlasts your own lifetime. This is not a distant dream or a far-off fantasy. This is the tangible, immediate potential that is now resting in your hands. And the only thing standing between the life you have and the life you are meant to live is the decision to act with conviction and purpose before this window closes for good. The information has been delivered to you, the pathway has been illuminated, and the responsibility now falls squarely on your shoulders to seize this moment with the urgency and seriousness it deserves. Do not let doubt, fear, procrastination rob you and your family of the future you have patiently waited for and so rightly deserve. The time for waiting is over. The era of action is now.